new features in 9. So over the course of these next 3 tutorials, we're going to be looking at some of the new features in 9. Now, as with most applications, when they have an update that goes to full number, you expect quite a few things, and this is the case. Now, because of the nature of many of these, we're not going to be able to go through all of them, but I want to give you a taste of a couple of them. Now, first of all, when you go through the list that they provide on their website, you can see just hundreds of changes, bug fixes, all kinds of things. But there's a number of really nice workflow things. It seems like they've gotten the program to a point where they can now just focus on efficiency and making things work better rather than throwing in new features all the time. So that is also the case. So we're not dealing with a lot of brand new things. What we're dealing with is really just a number of small adjustment changes, things that are really going to help out. So the things I want to show you, and we're going to cover a lot of these as we go throughout the whole course, but I just want to give you a taste of some of the things and the type of things that we've been doing with this. So first of all, we have in here toolbars. We have the hint bar. And so this is the big hint bar down here, which is going to show you a lot of information depending on what you're hovering over, and when you go on top of it, it kind of grays itself out and becomes transparent, and then goes back up, and this will show you things that are happening, what track you're on, a time information, what the button does. So it's like this hint bar up here, but a big one. So that's really nice. Another thing, when you go in here to the plugin picker, everything now is split into categories as well, so you can very easily find things, and when we're using them, click and drag them out, and it gets added. So very, very cool way of doing things here, and it becomes really efficient. The keyboard shortcut for that, by the way, is Control function key 8, and it brings that up. So very awesome, and it becomes very useful to have this as a part of your workflow. And it took me a little time to get used to that because I'm not really the kind who thinks, okay, let's open everything up, but once you get into that and really use it, it's an efficiency thing that really saves a lot of time, and when you have clients there or you're working, it looks pretty cool as well. Another thing, and we're going to talk about this later as well, we have what's called the riff machine. And like I said, we'll talk about this later. It creates random MIDI data based on a whole bunch of parameters that you set. I've used this a couple times because it's really cool to add just that little bit of different rhythm parts or melodic parts that you can't even possibly imagine by yourself, but it creates it for you, and you can alternate and go through different random alterations of it. All kinds of really cool stuff with that, so it's just another creative tool that they've added in there. Now we also have a number of things like, for instance, in the mixer, just different functionality here. So for instance, if we have a track selected and we can right click out here and say side chain to this track only, and it will turn off all the other side chaining and just send it to that one track. So a lot of small little efficiency things here, and it's very, very useful to be able to work with the mixer and do all the stuff that you need to do in a much more efficient way. For instance, with the sidechain to this track only, we talk about that when we talk about the vocoder, which the vocoder needs a lot of sidechaining. So those are some great tutorials if you want to skip ahead and look at how that actually applies to what we're doing. So a number of really awesome things here. That's just a couple, like a little smattering of what they've changed and added. And I'm only showing those few things because I just want to give you a taste of the type of thing they've added. So a lot of small stuff. A number of things that I didn't even notice was different, honestly, because the way they've done it, it really makes a lot of sense, and so it seems really intuitive, most of the changes that were made. Nothing really stood out as getting in the way of things. Okay, let's move on and talk about some of the generators and effects that they've added.